and see if I can get us to stream to YouTube at the same time. So just
Okay. All right. Let's see.
oh dear.
Everybody snowed out from today?
Snowed in.
Yeah. We're not out yet.
No, neither we are on top of our snow blowers and working.
Same exact thing happened.
And so anyway, we have like 90% of our driveway done, and now we're going to hit the sidewalks after tonight's meeting.
Yeah.
So fun.
We just had our snow blower repaired last year, and then go to start it today, and it doesn't start. I'm like, come on.
You're like, give us a break. Okay.
Well,
All
it's
right.
not letting me log into YouTube, so I don't
Uh-oh.
seem to be able to stream this. I am recording it on Zoom, so I can upload the Zoom recording after the meeting is over. But unfortunately, I'm not able to get it to go live to YouTube.
Oh, bummer. And I told some people it would be live. So
Yeah,
it is what
sorry.
it is. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is what it is. It's not your fault, Mara. Okay, give me just 2 seconds. I have the iPad for the agenda. I am improvising greatly here. All right, I will officially open tonight's finance meeting. It's 6:06, December 17th. I welcome everyone, and we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we'll do a quick roll call. Councilmember Gully,
Here.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Here.
Councilmember Steele,
Present.
Councilmember Cummings,
Present.
Councilmember Zaluski,
Here.
Councilmember McDermott,
Here.
Council President Mantello is here. All 7 present. Thank you. Approval of the minutes. I'll ask for a motion.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as recorded.
Thank you. Councilmember Zaluski motions. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, approval of minutes 7-0, presentation of the agenda, no local laws, a number of ordinances, summary levies, and a few resolutions. And we have a couple guests with us, so I thank you for joining us. And we have the mayor and the deputy mayor. We have no one who has signed up for the public forum. However, before going into the finance legislation, as many folks know, we took a walloping here in the Northeast. I think it's being recorded 22 plus inches, 2 feet in some areas. I feel like we have 3 feet. I really want to commend the crews, the staff. They've been working their tails off. They've been working around the clock. And I really want to give them kudos. I know a lot of folks out there are concerned and haven't seen a plow since maybe last evening. I asked folks to be patient. The mayor did call a snow emergency, which will kick in at 8 p.m. tonight. And I've asked the deputy mayor to give us an update. And once again, I really want to commend the staff, the department heads, and everyone, the crews who are out there really busting their humps. So Monica, if you could give us an update, that'd be great.
Sure. As you said, we declared the snow emergency. We also declared a state of emergency as well. Just making sure that people understand that it was not the best conditions out there. We are working around the clock. The state of emergency also allowed us to adjust our shifts for our staff. So the staff are working 12-hour shifts now, both at DPW and DPU, starting tonight. they'll modify their schedules. I believe a little while ago, there was an update that sent out. We're going to try to send as many updates out with what we're trying to do, you know, if not on a daily basis and every other day basis, if nothing changes. We do have contractors starting to come in tonight to help clear out snow. We are, Councilman Ash McPherson, doing the boulevards after a swift change. I just sent you all probably about 10 minutes ago a little narrative with the update, and I send that out to all of my neighborhood contacts as well, just try to get it out far and wide. We will change on the fly if we need to. That, you know, it's like a business plan. It's got to be flexible. If we discover streets that need clearing, and we know that there's those really narrow streets in Troy, we have them on the east side, we have them in the Berg, we have them in South Troy, definitely. Those will attack on an individual basis. We'll post those separately, and our crews will go through and push those back. I know Excelsior is one of the worst ones. Washington Place is a really bad one. Really narrow streets that we can't even get plows down without the cars getting out. We are trying to give crews, actually residents, enough time to get their cars unearthed. There's a lot of snow out there, and a lot of cars are just bubbles right now with snow. So hopefully people are able to get the time in. We do have police out with the contractors and with our crew tonight to start that process. So as much as you can spread the word. I even posted myself today, which, you know, all of you know, I don't normally use my Facebook for that. You know, somebody asked me that, because I said, everybody park even. And they're like, but is it just a snow emergency? I'm like, yes, but it would be really great if you could all do, because then the crews can just go through and make sure that we can get side streets clean. So it doesn't hurt for everybody to park on the same side of the street in the city as a whole. Other than that, we'll have contractors in starting tomorrow. Tomorrow night for downtown, we are going to do the streets on a whole basis, not one side or the other. Every other night, we're going to do Lower River Street, First Street, and Second Street all at once. We're going to ask everybody to park in the parking garages so we can clear an entire street at once. It makes it a lot easier for maneuvering the big equipment around, but then it also allows everybody to be able to park in those locations while we attack the secondary night streets. So those crews will be working both Friday night and Saturday night. And then we'll continue around the clock if we need to. We've got 3 days all the way till Saturday night planned out now. And if we need to continue and extend the snow emergency or post different areas, we will continue to do so until we get everything where it needs to be. And just, you know, make sure that you remember the crews are working around the clock. Driving a plow is hard work. It's really weird. It's hard work. It's exhausting, and it's physically exhausting. It's a lot of jostling and that kind of stuff. I did buy gift certificates for about 42 of them myself this morning to grab coffee. So certainly feel free to drop stuff off at both DPU and DPW. You know, they need it, and sometimes a pat on the back rather than a shovel full of snow at them is great. Which somebody actually did that to me today, threw a shovel of snow at me. I was like, thanks.
That's not very nice.
Nah, it's all right, you know, but I did push out 3 cars today. So be neighborly. That's the biggest thing we can say. Be neighborly. Make sure you're checking on the neighbors, especially those who are quarantined that you might know, and especially our elder population. That's about it. And we'll just we're going to push out and updates as much as we can, just so everybody's in the know.
Deputy Mayor?
Definitely.
President?
Councilmember Cummings.
Just a quick question. What is the best way for us to support you in terms of information? If we get information, you know, I know you're obviously, I'm sure you're flooded. I'm sure you're probably thought of most of the places that we are getting information about. But how do we make sure you have all the information we have without being an interruption?
So I will tell you, it's weird, but if you can text us, because a lot of, like today, I spent most of the day in my truck. Not that I'm texting and driving, but it's easier for me to pull up a text and respond to a text and pull off rather than pulling up an email and reading it and responding to an email. It's also quicker. We can respond a lot quicker that way too. So
Sure.
If you can text Chuck and I, if it's something north of Peoples, so keep in mind the way that our city splits during day for our crew. DPU, although we might use crews all over the place, but predominantly DPU goes from Peoples Avenue North, and DPW focuses on Peoples Avenue South. So that's just kind of a general rule of thumb that we've always operated with. So just feel free to text Chuck and I if you have a street or a location that's a little rough, especially as we get into like next week, in the next day or two, if we get some of those side streets now that people are dug out and we just need to kind of push it back, we can post those. The traffic department can post them for like a short period of time. We can go through, get it all pushed back, and then they can go back.
Are
doesn't
photos
have-
helpful or just cross streets?
Huh?
Are photos helpful or just cross streets?
Just cross streets are fine.
Thank you.
It all looks the same.
Yeah.
And Monica, what do you say to folks who, I mean, I'm really trying, obviously, I would say I probably have maybe over 40 different messages, texts, a lot of folks throughout the city tend to contact many of us, but saying that Chuck has been amazing. I've been in contact with him all day. What do you say to the folks who might not have seen a plow at all and are starting to get really concerned? I have a couple on Hillsview and a couple up in Emerald, and I know a couple of our trucks have gotten stuck. I know you plan to bring in some private crews, and do you plan at all to work with the county or mostly rely on the private crews to help out?
So the private crews are bringing for the snow removal and the big pushback, because they'll bring their payloaders and dump trucks and actually take it away. What that does though is it allows our crews to actually focus on those other areas and the side streets. They'll focus on the snow emergency areas first, and then they'll hit the side streets as well. And then the day crew. And I think, everybody needs to remember, and I know it's hard, I get it, but the snow just stopped at noon. And it was really impossible to kind of keep it under control while it was snowing an inch or two an hour. So now that, the snow has stopped, a lot of the streets that I had sent in, that I had sent over to the crews when I was just driving around before the meeting, they had actually been hit. They're not perfect, but they're passable. And that's what's the biggest thing right now. Once the cars can get fixed and moved out of the way, that'll make a bigger difference, and we can address those with individual postings. Or, like I tell the crews too, is if you see a swath of area with no cars, do a pushback, and just continuously keep going.
Just for folks, full disclosure, sorry, Ken Crow and just texted to see if we're having the meeting. So I did get back to him. I told him, Mara, that, unfortunately we can't YouTube live, but it is being recorded and will be up as soon as possible. Do you expect that maybe to get up tonight, Mara, or no?
Yeah, I assume that after the meeting, I'll be able to download the recording and then put it up. I actually just texted Anasha. He's the one who established the YouTube channel. So I don't know.
Yeah, I'm going through the process to see what's going on with that text.
Okay, thanks, Anasha.
Thank
And
you.
I would just like to point out, as we're sitting here talking about a lot of DPW stuff, today is the anniversary of Bill Chamberlain's death. He was 5 years, he died 5 years ago today. And, he would normally have previously done this.
Yeah.
So should say a few moments for him as well too.
Yep. And on that note, I graduated with one of his siblings, and she did post it, and yeah, just horrible. Maybe on that note, if we could take a minute just to reflect upon Bill. He's looking down on us, and he's probably cursing you, Monica. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we could take a
one update, and like I said, I will continue to set updates on the fly. Council President asked me to reach out to Andy Ross in that area to see if residents could park in his parking lot. And he said, yes, if they could park on the south end of the lot by Elma Court, and then move as soon as possible once their street opens up. They were okay with that as well too. So if there's residents around like that 102nd, 103rd area that need to get off the street, they can go park in Ross Tech Park.
That is awesome. Kim, I didn't tell you that because it kind of all happened at the last minute, but that's awesome, Monica. Thank you.
Okay. I just got the text just now.
Cool.
Okay.
Yep.
Council President?
Yes, Councilmember Zaluski.
Monica, was there, did anything happen with our plows today? Like on our east side page, people are posting things like, oh, 4 of the 6 plows were down. And I don't know where people get
Yeah.
that because I'm certainly not saying stuff that, about our plows being down. So do you know what happened?
Yep,
If anything?
we do. We have equipment that malfunctions all the time. Plows come off, pins shear. It is really not, it's a rough thing that those trucks have to go through, as well as the crew. So yeah, so we had 4 trucks break down. They were actually some of our bigger dump trucks. So the garage works just as much as the plowers do. They work around the clock as well too. One thing I did talk to Councilman Zaluski about earlier today when I was on the phone, one of the changes this year versus, well, not even last year, but a little bit before than probably what everybody's used to, is we've introduced, if you remember, sleep time into the CSEA contract. So does everybody hear me? I just want to make sure.
Yes.
Did you
Yep.
lose? Okay. So we introduced sleep time.
Huh. Now you're frozen. Monica? Monica?
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay, you froze.
Yeah, no, my whole screen just went blank. So the sleep time, so we have to send crews where we used to run crews probably, 18 hours at a clip. Now they have to have sleep time. So it does affect operations a little bit, but yes, to Councilman Zaluski's question, there were some issues with some vehicles today. Hopefully they'll be repaired and back online, but we have lots and lots of equipment out there. It's really heavy snow and really deep snow, so it's really hard for some of the traditional just trucks with plows on to push some of that stuff. So you have to rely on the big dump trucks to be able to push some of the big stuff.
Yeah, without a snow blower, we're finding that out the hard way. Anyone else have questions for Monica or the mayor?
Yeah,
I'm
just if I could
sliding.
follow up, I had a second question.
Oh, sorry, Councilmember Zaluski, sure.
Monica, the marketplace in Little Italy, are we using that as a place for people to park?
Yes, I believe so. I know Chuck was sending Joe Martin or somebody down there this evening to go clear that out so people can get in there and park.
We will be clearing that out. We also will be clearing the Front Street lot as well.
Great, thank you.
The Front Street lot and the Little Italy lot.
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Ash McPherson.
Deputy Mayor, I was also told today that Price Chopper, they can use up in this area, they can use Price Chopper parking lot to get cars off the street as well.
Say that again?
They can use Price Chopper parking lot to get cars off the street as
I
well.
don't know if it's, say that one more time. You cut out for me.
They can use Price Chopper parking lot,
Oh, okay, up in the Berg.
yeah, to get the
Okay.
cars off the street.
Perfect.
Great. Okay. Further questions, comments? Eileen, I did get quite a few calls, like I said, for Hillsview and Emerald Greens, but Chuck does have that, just so you know. Okay.
Okay.
I do have
Council
some
President.
council members, Zaluski as well. We will be getting them. Yes, thank you.
Great, thank you. And
Oh,
I
was
just-
that Chuck?
I do
Okay.
have some streets from Councilman Zaluski that we will be hitting as well. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Chuck.
Yeah.
I can't see who's on this at
Yes,
one
I
clip,
was
but
just,
I
I was
see.
trying to finish up. So first of all, thank you, Chuck and Monica. I know I've, sent a bunch of emails in today and we've had some phone calls. And, it's our first snowstorm. It's a big one. And I know it's tough to keep up. And, I didn't send my emails to the entire council, by the way, because I'm not trying to, I don't want to have my frustrations out there for everyone to see. But, I know we're catching up. And by the way, Chuck, since you're on, I just got another note from a constituent, Pauling Ave and Elm Grove. Apparently, there's some problems there with it not being passable.
Received. We'll get somebody out there. Thank you.
Yep, thanks.
Yeah, Chuck got quite a few texts from me today, but
Yeah.
trying not to bombard them, so I spread them out. Thank you, Chuck. Thank you. Councilmember Ash McPherson, do you have anything else? You have the floor.
No, I'm good. Thank you. Chuck,
Great.
thank you today for everything you did. And you really did answer all the questions when I talked to you. I've got a lot of people that are thankful that you're getting the trucks out there, and thanks for doing what you're doing. And same with Chris Whalen. He's done a great job up in this area as well.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any further questions or discussion for Chuck? Or Monica or the mayor? Okay. If we could just take a moment of silence for Bill Chamberlain, that'd be great. Thank you. Thanks, everyone. All right, moving along. We have no local laws. We'll go into Ordinance 97, Ordinance amending the Special Grants Fund budget. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Council Member Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Council Member Gully. If I'm wrong on the seconds, just let me know, please. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay.
Council President?
We're-
Quick question.
Councilmember Ash McPherson. For the record, the ordinance 97 did pass. Councilmember Ash McPherson.
Mara, can you see us or do you have to hear us?
Yes, I can see you. I can see all of you.
Okay. All right, thanks. Just want to make sure if I raise my hand.
Right. Yeah. Thank you.
All right, ordinance 97 carries 7-0. Ordinance 98, ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid bulk pickup fees and garbage fines onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson, discussion? James says no. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, ordinance 98 carries 7-0. Ordinance 99, ordinance, bear with me, authorizing the re-levy of unpaid solid waste collection fees onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 99 carries 7-0. Ordinance 100, ordinance amending the general fund and special grants funds budget. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson, discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? And just so folks are aware, the neighborhood improvement funds were transferred to special revenue fund, which we will discuss at a future meeting. Ordinance 100 passes 7-0. Ordinance 101, ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid vacant building fees onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson, discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 101 carries 7-0. Ordinance 102, Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid water bills onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion.
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Ash McPherson.
Andy. I thought the water bills in the sewer were not going to be re-levied based on you saying the governor said not to re-levy them, or there was something about that. Am I?
Oh, that was part of the discussion at the meeting 2 weeks ago. Subsequent to that, Corporation Counsel had sent out an email with clarification that upon further review, the law does not prohibit re-levy. I will be perfectly honest. I mean, it doesn't prohibit it. It makes it a little trickier administratively. I think that may be an understatement depending on the number of requests we get, but the amendments to the public service law still do not prohibit the re-levy from occurring. And it was his opinion that we should move forward with the re-levy.
So that was with the water bill and the tax. I could have sworn that you said that the governor said we couldn't do it, but he got clarification and said that we can do it.
He did say that we can, yes.
Correct. And there was an email, Councilmember Ash McPherson, but he
Right.
also, yeah, and he also referred to our charter. And our
Right, no,
charter-
I did
Yep.
see the email, but I wanted clarification from Mandy on this, so thank you.
No problem.
Council President,
Yep, Deputy Mayor Monica.
so just to clarify to go back to what the governor's executive order recalls to, is that if people needed to go into a payment plan, then that was part of something that they could still do even with the re-levy.
Okay, that was my next question. Thank you. So if they call and they say that they can't pay it, they need a payment plan, then we're able to do that. Okay, thank you.
Yes, it's an administrative disaster, and that's what Andy was referring to, but it can be done.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Any further discussion, questions? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ordinance 102 carries 7-0. Ordinance 103, ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid water and sewer shop work bills onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Ordinance 103 carries 7-0. Ordinance 104, ordinance authorizing transferring funds within the 2020 general fund budget. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Andy, I did see a major transfer out of contingency and holiday pay and records management in the police department for close to 240. I did see a change in the consultant services and engineering bumping up about 100K, or actually maybe about 80K. So can you fill us in, or 50K, on what the bump up was for the consultant services and engineering?
It's for a variety of projects. I think the deputy mayor can speak probably better to that. Just in regards to your other questions about the police department, the holiday pay reduction is based off of, the way we budget holiday pay is based off of current staffing levels at the time of the budget process. So if an employee retires, say in July, they don't get they get the holiday pay for the holidays that they were employed with the city for, but they don't get the holiday pay obviously when they're no longer employed. There is significant savings, obviously, because as we discussed throughout the year, there's a number of vacancies in the police department. There are savings in that line. The reduction in records management, that was a request from the chief just to reclassify. It's a reduction of 85,000 with a $64,000 increase in the regular other materials and supplies account. So that move of, that's the $21,000 reduction, but the move just from records management, most of it's just a movement from records management to just generic other materials and supplies, just to make it easier to put invoices through, to have a less specific account that money's tied to, is the reasoning for the police transfers.
Okay. And we'll let Monica weigh in on the consultant services for engineering.
Yep, so we finally got all our bills from CDM Smith over the last month or so, and just had an opportunity to clarify all of them. A majority of this was the engineering for the 10th Street Park. That bill came through, but then there was also the ADA lawsuit, the one that from the New York State Disability Rights Group. So that was also included because we had to have CHA come in and give testimony for that as well, and be what do they call it?
Deposition.
Deposed. Yeah, so it had to be deposed. So there were some expenses with that, and then some of them were just general review. Some things that we would have CHA review as project-based stuff versus having just Carlo or those guys review them as well internally. So it was just more of a culmination of the a group of stuff that came together all at once.
Okay.
But a lot of it was that ADA lawsuit.
Yep. And Andy, I did notice the taxes on other property went down 9,500. What's that for?
It's for primarily, there's a piece of the Fair Park Golf Course that falls under Brunswick, so we pay property taxes on that.
Right.
So it was just savings in that line.
Okay. Further questions, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? All right, ordinance 104 carries 7-0. Ordinance 105, ordinance transferring funds within the 2020 garbage fund budget. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. And Andy, it looks like the tipping fees for the bulk pickup was transferred over to send it to the residential pickup.
Correct. It's just where the money's falling for the tip fee bills is just to clean that up for the end of year. And then the council had approved the accepting of the grant from the Rubin Foundation, but we never did a budget amendment to put it into the 20 budget. So that's what that is for.
Okay, doke.
Council President, sorry.
Yep, no problem. Councilmember Ash McPherson.
105 is saying it also recognizes a grant for the Rubin Foundation for the purpose of the Recollect software, but we haven't approved or gone through that Recollect yet, right? We haven't voted on it yet, right?
Right, right. This is setting up the fund for it.
And is this 3,500 the match that they're paying, or is that a portion of it? The grant, am I?
Yep, so the grant is a multiple year grant from the Rubin Foundation, and the Recollect, it will be paid for through the Rubin Foundation and also through the DEC grant as well too.
Okay.
And it's a multiple year grant.
Okay, thanks.
So Council President.
Yep, Councilmember Cummings.
So this amount is a budgetary amount that's made up for in revenue from those grant funds, or this is the amount that the city is contributing?
The money that's going to be used from the grant from the Rubin Foundation for the purpose of Recollect.
Great. So that, yeah, okay. So a similar amount will be in the revenue.
There's a
Right.
revenue section above in Schedule A. There's a revenue section
Yeah.
of 3,500, and then there's an expense line of 3,500.
Perfect. Thank you.
Further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Aye.
Ordinance 105 carries 7-0. Let's move on to the resolutions. Resolution 126, resolution adopting Commissioner deeds for the city of Troy. We have one person. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, I think that was
Oh.
Councilmember Gully. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, resolution 126 carries 7-0. Resolution 127, resolution. The Troy City Council encourages residents and businesses to adopt a fire hydrant. How, talk about timing. Do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. I did not do a memo with this resolution because I felt the resolution was pretty self-explanatory, but as many folks might be aware, last year I introduced the resolution to actually do a more formal program to adopt a fire hydrant. I modeled it after Rochester, Brighton, and some other towns and communities throughout the state whereby folks would actually apply, do an application, and then there would be an interactive map. If the fire hydrant was green, it was taken. If the fire hydrant was red, that would mean it could be adopted. Long story short, the administration felt it was just too much work, too much time on staff. So the mayor did veto, unfortunately. And so this is a much different tactic. It basically encourages folks to adopt a fire hydrant. There's nothing, no legality. It's not implementing a program. It's just us saying, listen, obviously taking care of a local fire hydrant in your neighborhood or your area is a huge benefit to obviously not only the firefighters, but to us as citizens. Seconds can save a life. Clearing the ice and the snow. Obviously, many fire hydrants right now are totally covered. We get that. A lot of the fire hydrants, the fire departments will go out, and a lot of folks are already doing this and really have adopted a fire hydrant in their neighborhood. But if we can encourage more folks and businesses to do it, it certainly will, like I said, save tremendous time for our firefighters, ultimately potentially save a life. And it's a great partnership with our businesses and residents. So I ask the council to join me in encouraging folks to do it. Like I said, there's nothing mandatory. It's very voluntary.
Council President?
So, yes, Councilmember Ash McPherson.
I didn't get a chance to do this earlier, but I'd like to be a co-sponsor on this, number one. And number two, I know on the east side, John Van Alstyne had done a thing with the fire hydrants where they went around in the neighborhood, people adopted them, they painted them the different colors and whatnot. It was really, it didn't cost the city any money, and it was really a good thing. It got the community involved. So I think this is a good thing to do. So I'd like to be a co-sponsor on it. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ash McPherson. And it does build pride in a neighborhood. And, you know, they actually took it a step further. And in the summer months and spring months, they painted some of the hydrants and things like that. So this honestly is an all year round. You'll see other municipalities do it. They actually clean up the neighborhood. But in the winter months, it really could save the life of someone if our firefighters are able to have easy access to that fire hydrant. So,
Council President, can I interject just for one moment? It's Mara.
Yep.
I just wanted to say the East Side coordinated with Chris Wheeland when they painted the fire hydrants. All the hydrants are color coded for the source and the pressure of the hydrant. So members of the public should not just go out and paint their fire hydrant without talking to the Public Utilities Department first. And that was actually something that was funded. The paint was bought by the Neighborhood Improvement Program. And they did
Yes.
a tremendous service to the public utilities and the fire department. They were very pleased with it, but just want to make sure people know they should not go out and paint their fire hydrant. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, clearing it, that's one thing, but yeah, anything to do with city property, they have to work with the administration and the various department heads. So thank you, Mara.
President?
Further, yes, Councilmember Zaluski. Oh,
Actually,
Councilmember
Councilman
Gully.
Gully beat me.
Councilmember Gully.
We just look alike on the screen, that's all. That's why I wear my.
I know, I only have access to 3 people at a time, so.
Oh, boy. Hey, listen, 2 things. First off, I think it is a great gesture to do that. And I would also like to be a co-sponsor if you don't mind. And I don't, the painting part, I understand. We have to stay within the regulations, but I think getting our residents and our businesses to take stock in their block is a positive thing. And Mr. Mayor, I don't know why you vetoed it last year, or the administration vetoed, or whatever they did, that it didn't go, but maybe you could just help us along. How do we make, it looks good to me because it doesn't say we're doing any painting, just keeping them clean and keeping them free. Is that something that I feel it's a benefit? I mean, is there anything you want to add to this discussion?
No, I don't think there's any downside to getting people to shovel out their hydrants. I shoveled out 2 myself today. Just a point of clarification, I did not veto it last year. I took no action on it. It's something if you read our newsletters that go out during snowstorms, we recommend that people do that and make a pitch that it's important to do that in case there's an event on their street. It saves some time. So we're already messaging this. We have been for 5 years. If you want to pass this resolution, that's fine. It's just another message in support of the message we're already putting out. No harm.
Exactly. Sometimes you need to hear it 2, 3 times to make it sink in. So I appreciate that. I just want to make sure there wasn't some sort of regulation or stipulation in our way. I think it's a great thing. And the more we get our residents to buy into our city, the better off we're going to be.
Council
Thank
President.
you. Yep, Councilmember Zaluski.
So that I was actually going to ask the same question to the mayor about that, and I was going to clarify that it was not a veto. And actually, the initial draft of this legislation did say veto. I see now it does say did not endorse.
Did not endorse.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's a good correction. When this was originally proposed, I did say that I did not support the negative language of that 6th whereas. I don't think it's necessary to drum up what the mayor did in the past on it. I think it's overall, I support the idea. My one big question for the mayor, and I think you already answered, but I just want to be 100% sure that passing a resolution like this, where you have adopt a fire hydrant, does that impose any liability on the city whatsoever if someone that adopted a hydrant doesn't clear it and there's a problem where the fire department can't connect to it, and then a homeowner says, well, someone adopted this and they didn't clear it, and does that put the city at risk in any way? I wouldn't think so, but I want to just get clarification on that.
Well, that's a legal question I probably shouldn't opine on, but I can't help myself anyway. So I don't think it imposes any liability. This is not a formal adoption program in the sense that you've signed something committing to do it. It's probably more of a gesture going on record saying, well, I'll do this one on the corner of this street and this street. And but we will nonetheless make our rounds and make sure they're shoveled out, even if people say they're going to do it, because you're right. People need to follow through. If they don't, we will. We always do.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. So in that case, I'm going to propose a minor amendment to the resolution, which for me will garner my support. And it's up to everyone else if they want to amend this as I'm proposing. I would just like to eliminate the first 2 sentences of the sixth whereas, so that the 6th whereas starts with something along the lines of, this program was modeled on other municipalities, while not drumming up the past non-endorsement. So my amendment is to start the 6th whereas with the 3rd sentence and striking those first 2 sentences.
The only thing, this is not the program. So it wouldn't make sense mentioning the program because the prior resolution, Councilmember Zaluski, was the actual program. So it wouldn't make sense. What you
Council
could
President?
say, what you
Council
could
President?
say, yeah, I'm just clarifying something. What you
Right.
could say, maybe, Councilmember Zaluski,
Yep.
is the city council passed, resolution 111. That resolution modeled a program after other municipalities, et cetera, only because this resolution, even though it somewhat models that program, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so
It's
let me,
not the
let me,
program.
let me modify that amendment.
Okay.
I'd like to eliminate all of the language in that whereas right up until this resolution is a voluntary call from the city. So it'll be whereas this
Right.
resolution is a voluntary call from the city council encouraging residents and businesses to adopt a fire hydrant. That will eliminate any reference to the past program and what
Right.
it might have looked like.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We have a motion on the floor to eliminate all the language from the city council all the way up to application. So that would be deleted, and that paragraph, Mara, as I understand, Councilmember Zaluski, it would say, whereas this resolution is a voluntary call from the city council encouraging residents and businesses to adopt a fire hydrant. So we have a motion on the floor. Councilmember Zaluski, I'll second your motion. It's fine.
Okay.
On the discussion of the amendment,
Council President,
yes, Councilmember Steele.
I wasn't on the council when 111 was passed, but if I read it correctly, it was a much more formal program that called for a lot more potential administrative work, and clearly I could see where it would have not gotten the favor of the administration. We were basically dictating to them more work. This resolution, as I read it now, is pretty much just encouraging residents to do probably what many of them are already doing. But if indeed we are able to get one more hydrant shoveled out by this resolution, I guess I can't fault that. But I would hope it accomplishes something other than a press release, but I will support it.
It
Council
will.
President?
It will. Councilmember Cummings.
Yeah, I looked back at the record and I think I was maybe the lone vote against it last time. Certainly one for similar reasons to what Councilmember Steele outlined. I think this resolution is far more clear in its purpose, especially with the amendment Councilmember Zaluski offered, in really relying on the never-ending fountain of potential that is our residents. So certainly I can support this with this amendment. I like the idea of continuing to encourage folks to do this important work in our community for their neighbors and for everyone. Certainly, I think this is a tradition that's been going on for quite some time. I had thought that there was actually code that required the nearest property owner to clear their hydrants, but I couldn't find that in my recent review. So given that, certainly I think it makes sense to encourage it. So yeah, I support the amendment and support the resolution.
Further discussion on the amendment? I'm going to take slow roll. Councilmember Gully,
Yes.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Yes.
Councilmember Steele,
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings,
Yes.
Councilmember Zaluski,
Aye.
Councilmember McDermott,
Yes.
And Council President Mantello. Just to clarify what it does do, it essentially does the same thing, the resolution. We're just taking out the notation where it refers to the resolution that was not endorsed, which is similar to veto, but it was not endorsed at the end of 2019. So I vote aye. 7 ayes, 0 noes on the amendment, the amended resolution. Mara, you have the amendment fine?
Yes, I do. I actually was able to download the legislation, so I'm able
Oh,
to
cool.
look
Okay,
at it.
good.
Thank
All
you.
right, very good. On the amended resolution, do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Slewski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. I'm going to take a slow roll. Councilmember Gully,
Yes.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Yes.
Councilmember Steele,
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings,
Yes.
Councilmember Slewski,
Aye.
Councilmember McDermott,
Yes.
and Council President Mantello. I want to thank my council colleagues for supporting this resolution. It is more than a press release. If we get one additional fire hydrant, believe me, when I did put it on social media, when I did tweet it, a couple of people were like, oh, you know what? I do the one by my house, but maybe I'll go a couple blocks over. So this is the legislative branch making a call to involve our citizenry and our businesses. And once again, I want to thank the council for their support. So I do vote aye, and we have 7 ayes, 0 noes on resolution 127. We'll move to resolution 128. Resolution support the Hoosick Hillside Study. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Slewski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Steele. Discussion. I know we did get an update the other evening, a very thorough update from the Planning Committee. And I do know that Steve Strikeman's with us. So if anyone had questions from Steve Strikeman, I take it, my big question on this, Steve, was if we obviously do this resolution, it doesn't necessarily tie us to everything that's within that plan, correct? We're essentially saying, listen, we support the plan, but it is a plan, correct?
Correct. I think it would be very hard to do everything that's in that
Yeah.
plan anyways. So
Okay.
yes, just it allows the city council and not city council, the planning commission and the engineering department as well to incorporate it, and have something to, even to apply for grants. It has some backing from the city to make it more likely we would either get funding or be able to do the work.
Excellent, thank you. Questions, discussion from anyone? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, resolution 128 carries 7-0. Resolution 129, resolution of the City Council of the City of Troy supporting the redevelopment of the Taylor Apartment Complex and consideration of Article 11 pilot for the Taylor 1 redevelopment. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Slewski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Cummings. Just for the council's awareness, this is the only resolution that will not be going to the special meeting tonight. So this resolution, should it be passed, will go to the January meeting. So I'll open it up for questions, concerns, comments.
Council
Council
President.
President?
Yep, first Councilmember Ash McPherson, then Councilmember Cummings. Councilmember Ash McPherson.
Steve,
Yes.
I'm not a fan of pilots, and looking over this resolution and reading it and so forth, and I guess I guess my thing is people want to come to the city and do business. You know, we've got a great city. I'm not comfortable with a pilot. What I'm looking at is though, there's no taxes being paid on the property now. And there will be, if this goes through, in support for taxes being paid. I'm not exactly sure the amount. I don't know who does the negotiating and whatnot on here. I really wouldn't like a 30-year pilot on this. I really wouldn't like a 20-year pilot on this. I'm gonna vote in favor of this tonight, but just so you were all aware, and you're aware that, like I said, I'm not one for pilots. If you want to come to the city and bring your money into the city and start spending your money in the city, I'm good with that. And if this is going to go with a pilot of a 30-year or so, but I will support this resolution tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Steve, I'll let you respond, then we'll go to Councilmember Cummings.
Okay, no, I just want to state thank you, Councilman Ash McPherson, for that support. I think this is a great time to have the support so that we have a unanimous resolution of support for Penrose's application to the state. And certainly you do get a second bite at the apple on the pilot, which I will be negotiating with them at some point in the future when we will come back after the Planning Commission adopts their plan. So thank you for your support.
And we do have Penrose with us, I believe, correct? Dylan is with us. I see him in the left-hand corner, Dylan Salmons, if anyone has specific questions. Hi, Dylan. Councilmember Cummings?
2 questions. One, just procedural. I know the core purpose of this resolution is to support the application through New York State. When is that application due? And what is the timeline on that?
The
So
application to DHCR is due on January 13th.
Okay, so we're cutting it close, but not too close. Okay, great. And then,
Sorry, I didn't hear any of that.
Oh, Dylan, can you repeat yourself, please?
Absolutely. The application to the Department of Homes and Community Renewal is due on January 13th.
Great. And then, yeah, on the pilot, what's sort of still yet to be negotiated? I know there are specific numbers referenced here. How flexible are those? How much is still being negotiated? And in particular, is it possible to have a different rate for the market rate versus affordable units?
So I haven't looked at any information yet on this. It hasn't gotten to that point for the ask. So yes, we have I'm sure Penrose is pretty specific with those numbers that are in there. On the market rate in this, I'll leave that to Dylan to answer that piece. But again, I mean, the reason we're not asking you tonight is because the seeker hasn't been completed yet.
Sure.
And to clarify, the project that we're discussing, Taylor Apartments Phase 1, is 100% affordable. And so all 85 units in the building would be income restricted and all held to a loan term with HCR's subordinate debt, which would require those restrictions to stay in place for a period of no shorter than 30 years.
Okay, but those are all through HCR's affordable housing process.
Correct.
It'll be on the next phases where we start to see significant increases as they incorporate some market rate.
Correct.
Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense. Just in terms of, I know we don't want to be displacing anyone, so we want to make sure that we're able to fully replace and add to our existing affordable housing stock there. So yeah, certainly, I think that's a good first step in this process.
Okay.
Council
Steve
President,
is raising her hand.
Sure, Steve.
So I thought, I wasn't sure what the reason was for this being held until January. I mean, it can wait, but I didn't know if there's any reason why it could not be put forward to tonight's special meeting. I thought that's when we spoke the other day. That's what you had said, but maybe you were just talking about the CDTC one.
No, you had asked, if you recall, we had talked about this one, and then we confused the CDTC and this one. When you and I had spoken, you had said the Taylor pilot, it's okay to push that to January. So the initial was to do it tonight. I took it off and pulled it to do in January because you had actually stated, give, a couple council members a couple weeks. And I said, are you sure? Initially, it was on the special meeting. I took
I
it
mean,
off and moved it to January, but we can't vote on it tonight now because the special meeting per the charter has to go 24 hours in advance and actually state the specific legislation that we're voting on. So,
Okay. Okay, I mean, it can wait until January.
yep. Further discussion, questions? Okay. I'm going to take a slow roll. Councilmember Gully,
Yes.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Yes.
Councilmember Steele,
I,
Councilmember Cummings.
I'll just make a brief comment that this is an incredibly important project in the heart of my district, and I'm very supportive of it moving forward. I also appreciate your willingness to let it sit for 2 weeks. That is how legislation should generally work. We've been pushing it to do all at once far too often. So if it's possible, such as this, I appreciate your willingness to let that give us all time to do all of the homework we might need to do. But this is one that I think will offer ongoing dividends to the people of Troy for years to come. So certainly hope it can count on continued support from all of my colleagues.
Councilmember Zaluski.
To explain my vote, first of all, I'd be happy to support Councilman Cummings on this. And I've been on the LDC I was on the LDC previously for 8 years, and we were talking about this back then. And here we are now finally having this potentially become a reality. So I will enthusiastically support this. I vote aye.
Thank you. Councilmember McDermott.
yes.
And myself, this to me, I recall when I was on the council in my teens, LOL, in the 90s, this was something that was on the radar for, my gosh, many decades. Not a huge fan of pilots. I've stated my concern about various pilots in the past, but I look at this pilot very differently. It's affordable housing. It's going to open up our waterfront. I'm super, super excited. The apartments are going to be more modern, more up to date. Those folks and the folks living there and the new folks who will hopefully be living there are super excited. Also, we asked Councilmember Steele and a THA representative, Tom Houlihan, the other night, are folks excited? And he said, absolutely. So it's great. They're not being displaced. They have a whole phased in plan, and certainly open up our waterfront for access, for trails. This is just going to be a huge domino impact, economic development, recreation. I'm really excited about this. So I enthusiastically vote aye. So we have 7 ayes, 0 noes, and my computer for some reason. So that is resolution 12970. Resolution 130, resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a master services agreement with Recollect Systems Incorporated for the purpose of supplying an educational internet platform and applications to increase recycling in the city of Torrey. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration, do I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion, Council Members Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Cummings. Discussion?
Council President,
Councilmember Ash McPherson.
is Renee on here with us?
I don't see her, but I believe Monica might be able to answer some questions, maybe.
Actually, Chuck has the information.
Okay.
He's on-
Chuck on here?
Yeah, he's the 801 number down below. He's actually at the DPW garage getting ready to jump into snow issues. So he's at the
Okay.
garage. He can answer your question.
Okay, so I guess when I was reading this over, it's in agreement with Recollect, who's out of Canada. Can I ask why we're going to a company that's in Canada?
Chuck,
Chuck is on mute.
yes, he is.
I don't
Do you
even see
want-
him.
Yeah, his face isn't on Council Member Ash McPherson. He's the phone.
I don't even see that.
Okay, I have to scroll. Monica, could you ask?
I'm texting him right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
So that's one of the questions that I have on there. And the other one is, we're spending 85, you're asking to spend 8,500 for an app or for, to go to a website. And I guess my thing is there's so many people, young, middle-aged, our age, old, whatever, they really don't use these websites and whatnot. And I don't feel that this is going to really get the information out to where as many people as it needs to get out to. So by telling somebody to go to a web page or use the app and whatnot, there's a lot of people that don't do that. So I'd like to know where, you know, a little bit of information on why they feel this would be workable and it should be done.
Okay. We'll wait, Chuck. Hopefully Chuck will be joining us momentarily.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on. So I'll answer. So Canada, I'm not sure why Canada. It's just that's where the app was created. So it's not necessarily like we went specifically to Canada to ask for stuff, but the system, and that's where it's created, just like things are created in Troy or anywhere else. As in regards to, this isn't a one-stop shop for outreach. This is one of the tools. This is one resource that we're going to put out. And then it's about, we just spent an entire budget process about talking about educating and sending information out to residents. This is just one format and one resource that we can get out. If I recall correctly, oh, Chuck says he's there and talking, but he's on mute. And then hopefully he'll pick up because he knows more about it than I do. It's just one of the tools that we'll be able to do. It does have a back face for the staff as well as a front face for residents. We can put stuff out.
Hello?
Mara, can you,
Chuck,
there you go.
Chuck's on now.
You're on, Chuck. Go ahead. So can you tell them exactly what this platform will do for the residents as well as for us?
Yes, my apologies. I had to hit *6. I think I was on, well, I don't know what happened, but just to touch on a few points. Some of the things with this is some of the results from the collection calendar, they're specific to the address of an individual that's searched. The calendar is printer friendly. Service interruptions and holiday collection notifications can be sent to the affected residents who are enrolled in the notification. So we have to, in order to get this, people with notifications right to their phones, as long as they're signed up. Residents can enroll for reminders, and they'll be sent a notification reminder when their trash day and recycling is, or if it changes. If for whatever reason we need to change or disrupt the day-to-day operation, they will get notified. This is just another platform for us to get information out to our residents. The Waste Wizard is a database. Basically, it returns information regarding how and where to dispose of specific materials. If somebody has a question, a resident has a question on how to get rid of aluminum cans, this app will let them know. I just use that as an example. Styrofoam, tires, plastic bags, however it is, all that information will be here. We do collect it on the regular collection. Directions on how to recycle and dispose of material properly will also be in this app. The Waste Wizard information can be updated by the city and the city's discretion. We can put information in there when we need it, how we need it, to get it out to the residents. It actually has a sorting game. It's called the waste sorting game. It's an educational way for people to learn about commonly misrecycled items. They basically click on something, drag it where they think it should be. From that, the city will have access via the admin portal to see what the residents are searching, which information from us, or which information that they're researching and that they're getting wrong, and we can actually get that information out to the residents. So if we see, you know what, we're trying to dispose of batteries, we don't know how to do it, and from that admin portal, we can see people do not understand where and how to put batteries away. This is the information that we can put out. This is a tool for us to actually push out information to help our residents recycle. We also have the Recollect team, which will work with us. We'll work with our team to implement the software effectively on our website, social media. We basically have almost a university of Recollect, if you will, to help us get this up and running, to answer all our questions, help us through this process.
Chuck, Chuck.
Yep, can you hear me?
Yep, I understand that piece of what you're saying, but my question is, this is $8,500 that you're going to put an app out on there. What about the people that aren't using this?
Well, this is another avenue for us to actually push out information outside of. This also will connect to via any social media that the city has connection to, via Facebook, Twitter, however it may be. This is just another avenue for us to get out information.
And I understand that, and I'm just concerned about the many people that do not use social media, do not use the internet and whatnot, that like to pick up the phone and call and so forth. I just think $8,500 paying to a company that's coming out of Canada. That's the other thing that I was looking at in the contract of it. I'm just kind of thinking that $8,500 could be better spent with the recycling, getting the information out. I'm just kind of trying to figure out why we're going to, I understand the website, but we also have a page with all this information that we put out, don't we?
Council President?
Yes, Monica.
Chuck, I'm going to jump in for a second. So again, being one part of this, Kim, and if you remember in the budget, when we modified the budget to make the changes from pay-as-you-throw to this other one, we did leave in marketing money, and we left in printing and advertising funds in there as well too. So some of the things that we're talking about is, you know, the stickers on the bins and doing all those kinds of things. So, you know, we can do, when the garbage bills go out, we can insert a flyer. So we can reach all of those other individuals that you're talking about. And we can, I mean, we all have those challenges. The city council has the challenges with the outreach to people. Unfortunately, social media has taken on such a powerful role in the world today that a lot of people only use that as a means to connect. And we do know as a city how difficult it is to connect to the residents. So that's why we left marketing money. That's why we have the printing and advertising funds in there as well. And we also are talking about doing the neighborhood groups and the town halls and all those other things that we discussed during the budget hearings as well. In addition, the $8,500, going back to a few resolutions or ordinances ago, that is being paid for by a grant. 2 grants actually. It's being paid for through the Rubin Foundation, and we also get a fellow with that as well too. The Rubin Foundation usually puts bodies with it along with their grant funding, and then also it'll be reimbursed. The other half of that will be reimbursed through DEC as well too, because DEC reimburses anything having to do with recycling, especially outreach and communications and stuff like that too. So this isn't just the only way, but yes, I know Kim, or Councilman Ash McPherson, it's definitely one of the things that we need to focus on is how we get to those other residents. And that's all a part of the overall outreach.
Council President.
1 second, Councilmember Ash McPherson, you're all good? Okay, Councilmember Cummings.
Yeah, I took a little time to check out the app and the features they offer. Certainly seems like some useful, particularly the waste wizard. You know, I have started to build some of a database of of where things can put, where people can recycle what in my head, but it's hard to remember everything. So having a resource that is always up to date and is always able to be added to with different materials, I think will be incredibly helpful. Certainly for anyone that has the app and is able to look at it, but also for us as council members. If we get a call from someone that says, "Hey, how do you get rid of styrofoam?" As long as we have the app, we'll have the most up-to-date, ready-to-go information, and that'll be true of anyone in City Hall as well. Hopefully we'll be able to access this database in a way that it's all coming from one place and all able to be up to date and accurate. So that all sounds really good. Similar to the collection calendar, that obviously that seems helpful. The ability to text people or notify people of changes. That's something that's just largely not done right now, right? We post on our website, we post on social media when a holiday change happens, but we don't have the resources to be going door to door or sending out mailers every time there's a holiday. And so this is a big supplement, a big additional thing, a new method of communication that I think it makes a lot of sense to utilize. I think that'll be a big benefit to our residents, and that alone will be a good incentive for folks to download the app and try it out. Obviously not everyone is comfortable with this stuff, but I think more and more people are getting comfortable with it. And if you give them something valuable in the form of an ability to get notified when your recycling is not going to get picked up the next day, I think that's a very valuable thing to be able to offer people as it's something we could never offer in any other way, in a economically feasible way. And then I did note that one of the things they offer theoretically is bulk collection scheduling. Is that something that we're utilizing at this point, or is that something we're looking to utilize through a different service in the future?
That is something we're definitely looking into. Yes, there are many different options with this. Some we basically have not put into this, but we have the opportunity in the future to get them if need be.
Okay, so at this point, we're not implementing their ability to manage bulk collection, but we may look to do that in the future. Is that the answer?
Correct.
Okay.
No, bulk collection, things of that will also be on there. My apologies. That'll also be on there. There's other opportunities for us with this app, but this is what we felt at this moment in time would generate what we need to get out to the public for our services.
Okay. Yeah, so it seems like they have the capability to do scheduling of bulk collection and billing for that. Is that?
Yep. Any changes, you're enrolled in a notification process, you will get notified via phone or how you set it up, realistically.
Okay.
There's also a link I can send to the council members if wanted. From Denver, they have it set up. You can kind of tool around with it, see how it is. If that's up to you, I can definitely send that out.
Sure, that would be
Council
very
President.
helpful. Sorry, I had one more question.
Hold on, Council Member Cummings still has the floor.
Does she sound like that to everybody, or is it just me?
Yeah, she sounds like a
there's
robot that's failing.
delay there. I was wondering the same thing. But
is that better, hopefully?
It sounded like you're running out of battery power.
Snow's getting in the way of your reception there. But it's all right. Hopefully folks can hear me. My last question was, in the backup that I got anyway, I didn't see the full contract. Is that something that you all can send us? And sort of related to that,
Council member, the contract was forwarded separately.
Oh, that was, okay, cool. Sorry. I guess I missed that.
I'll resend it.
That's all right. I get a lot of email. I'll find it.
You said one question.
Oh, did I? Well, then go ahead.
Ooh, testy.
Council President.
Hold on, Council Member Cummings, are you good?
Yeah, I've been put in my place. I can pass the the mic.
No, do you have more questions?
No, I don't. No, I'm fine.
Okay, Councilmember Gully.
Well, to be real, I still have to go back outside and finish shoveling and plowing. So I do have two questions. Monica, we're getting reimbursed for part of that 8,500. What is the net to the city?
Chuck, do you know the exact amount? I think it's the 3,500 that we just transferred. So it's 8,500 minus that, and then the remaining balance, which will be $5,000 or whatever, is actually half of that will be paid through DEC. So we'll net about
I believe
$2,500
that's
is the actual cost.
And is that cost for 1 year? I know you said multiple years. Does that cover multiple years?
That's 1 year. So each year you would have $2,500 in costs for a program.
Okay. Chuck, I would like to get a link so we could look at that application. And were there any other companies that you looked at, or was this the only one that brought the program to us?
This seemed to be the favorable one, to be quite honest with you. I will definitely send that link out tomorrow if that's okay.
You got some things to do tonight?
Yeah, go shovel.
Couple of things.
Council President?
Okay, Councilmember Gully, you're all set?
I am good, thank you.
Yep, Councilmember Zaluski.
Yeah, so first of all, Chuck and Monica, thank you. I'm not a big fan of texting in the middle of a meeting, but I'm literally, I'm still receiving plowing requests during the meeting, and I'm trying to get back to people. And thank you to both of you for staying on top of that. I appreciate it. So that's probably why Chuck couldn't talk. I'm inundating him with requests in the middle of a meeting. Regarding the Recollect software, 8,500 is not horrible for an annual license. It depends on what the software does. This seems like mostly an information distribution application. So I do want to get more familiar with it, because if it's just publishing information, 8,500 might be a bit much. If it truly is an interactive app that where residents are contributing their own information and learning more. I know it says that they're supposed to learn through it, but I'd like to just see how it actually works to understand that. But I'm inclined to move this forward tonight. And I'll just say, I know Councilman Cummings mentioned the waste wizard. If there's a waste wizard that will literally get rid of our waste that's part of this, then I'm all for it for sure.
Thank you, Councilmember Zaluski. Any further discussion, questions? Okay, and I apologize. I had 6 more snow plowing requests. Don't worry, Chuck. I'm not sending all 6. Further questions, discussion? I'm going to take a quick slow roll then. Councilmember Gully?
Yes.
Councilmember Ash McPherson?
Council President, I'm going to vote yes for this right now, but I still have some questions in my head, and I've been going through it. So I'll come back with some more questions at our next one. But I'll vote for yes for right now.
Okay, just so you know, it is going to the special this evening. Okay.
I know. I got it up online and reading it.
Very good. Councilmember Steele?
I think given the fact that we need to do everything that we can to encourage our residents to embrace recycling, I think this is another tool in that toolkit. We took further steps in the budget by adding educational assistance in recycling that I think will address those who may not be as tech savvy as this might encourage. But I think the more we can do, the better going forward our whole approach will be. And so I am definitely in favor of this. Aye.
Thank you. Councilmember Zaluski?
Councilman Cummings is next to vote.
I'm sorry, Councilmember Cummings.
I think I've made my position clear. Aye.
Thank you. Sorry about that. Not seeing everyone is really throwing me. Councilmember Zaluski,
Aye.
Councilmember McDermott.
Yes.
And I apologize. I did have one question, Chuck. I noticed on the company's website, they want to reduce phone calls. And their objective is to get people to get these text messages, etc. So is it only text? Is it text, email, phone call? Or is it only text and some email? What is the messaging exactly? No phone calls.
I believe it's how we set it up, and the information is pretty much from the city on how we want to put that out to our residents.
Okay. As expressed earlier by Councilmember Ash McPherson, I obviously am very, very much in favor of more text messaging. And from, when I was first elected, many schools have text messages. The Senate, thank you, Councilmember Zaluski, also has text messaging, emails, and a phone call. So all three. So does my son's school. So I would like to see actually more of that. My only concern on this, and I am going to vote for it, but my only concern is a Canadian firm. I'm a little bit miffed and shocked that we can't find someone from the United States, or even there's just so much technology in the capital region in the Northeast. So I was a little surprised that we did have to go to Canada for that. And my only concern is going to be the communication with the company. I'm not sure how many other municipalities are with this company, but they do look very online. And my only concern would be to actually physically get a person from the company and to actually get that human connection. So I am hoping that it works out, but I do have some concerns being a Canadian firm, but I am going to vote for it, so I vote aye. So Resolution 130 carries 7-0. Resolution 131, resolution determining that proposed action is a type 2 action for purposes of the New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. And I apologize. We should probably do the bond before the seeker, Andy.
Speaker has to go first.
The seeker first? Okay, good.
Yes.
Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. On the discussion, I'll just refer to Monica or Chuck. I don't know who wants to take the lead on this, but obviously the memo was very detailed. This is an extra $1 million for the DPW garage because of underground fuel storage tanks. And I appreciate Monica and Andy reaching out to me to really go into depth on this issue. But just for the public's knowledge, we'll take 131 and 132. So if you guys just want to quickly go into it, I think that'd be great.
Okay, so I'll start on pretty much everything. So I think it was Monday, actually. I got a call from Chuck, the DPW, from the Commissioner Chuck, that there was a repair that needed, or a renovation really, that needed to be done at the DPW facility of the gas tanks. I was shocked. I will tell you, the first thing I asked is how come this wasn't in the capital plan just a few months ago, because that's how it should have been presented. But what had happened, and I got more information, and just to kind of give the lay of the land, we have one individual who is the point of contact for all of the underground storage tanks that the city has. So he is our point of contact through DEC. He was contacted very early in the year, literally just before COVID. DEC did come in and do an inspection of the facility. There were some write-ups in that. One of the pieces that failed the test was the containment component of the tanks, and that is what this is. So Subsequent to that, we had another individual go out and get some quotes and meet the contractor there just to kind of get a baseline of what we were talking about. And then with COVID, it just kind of just fell apart. It wasn't a singular person to blame. I know sometimes people like to have somebody to blame, but there isn't a singular piece of anybody that can take on full ownership of that. But what's important now is we did have a conversation to see if this was something that could wait until 2022. Once I read the scope of work of what was involved and how in-depth it was going to be, it didn't make sense to literally rebuild the whole facility that you guys just approved through the bonding for the capital plan. Everybody's aware we're going to build a new building. We're going to reface and re-roof a building over there. These storage tanks, if you're all familiar with the DPW site, are literally the gas pump is right where we're going to be excavating and taking down and all those kinds of stuff. So the opportune time is to actually do it while we're in full construction. We can relocate the pumps to a better location to better serve the facility as a whole. And it'll actually cost us less money, because if we have to re-dig up what we already put in brand new, there's going to be additional expense. Plus, if there is a leak, we want to make sure that we take care of it sooner than later, because it's just going to cost us more money if it seeps into the ground even further. We don't know the extent of, or if there is actually any leakage into the soil. We won't know that until we take the items out. So just to be on the safe side, I will, Andy and I had a long conversation about this. The quote we received, and obviously this will go out for procurement, it has to be bid because of the dollar amount. But the original quote that we received, just to kind of get an estimate, was definitely lower than $1 million. But we also know that Chris Wayland up at DPU had to do this at his facility. His pumps are a little bit bigger. His tanks are definitely older than these tanks. These tanks were actually installed in 1999, so they're a different material and they're in better condition than Chris's was. And his was $1.2 million. Again, bigger issue, a lot more issue with more dirt that had to be excavated. So we felt that the $1 million, we don't have to spend the whole million, which is the kind of way that we looked at it. It's just authorized to do so. And then obviously once we have the bid back, we can have a better idea. But we have to address it sooner than later. And the reason for now with the approval tonight is because of the estoppel, so that we only pay one issuance and we can get it estoppeled and out with the other bonds that we are now. So we'll have some savings on the administrative side as well.
Thank you, Monica. Yeah. Did Andy want to add anything before we go into council discussion?
I just want to expand on the estoppel matter. Estoppel period has to cure prior to the bidding on the debt itself. It's not the closing date. It's not the issuance date. It's when the bids are received, or when the bidding process occurs for the debt. That's why this is on the special meeting for tonight. If it was on the regular January agenda, estoppel would not cure before bidding process started on the debt. Therefore, it would not be able to be included in the debt issuance that's coming from our bond counsel. So that is the reason to it. If it goes tonight, it can be included in the late January issuance, and then it can be, we can do the issuance with the first the first tranche of funding for the next phase of the Siemens project. If it was to wait until the January council meeting, the estoppel period would not cure before the bidding starts.
And I had asked Andy that, and so that's why it is on tonight. Thank you, Andy. I'll open it up to council members.
Council President?
Any questions, discussion? Yes, Council Member Cummings.
I guess first, is this a full replacement, dig out, fully replace, or just dig out and repair a section of it? I wasn't quite clear on that from your description.
No, so it's a full replacement. So they'll actually, it involve, the scope of work will entail a removal. It'll also entail temporary tanks, because we obviously have to have fuel for all of our equipment. So we'll have the placement of temporary tanks to be able to utilize while we're reconstructing, depending on if there's any contamination in the ground. we'll have to obviously dig until we don't hit anymore. And then obviously you have to let it sit and cover it while it airs, and be able to take that out. There are ways to do it otherwise, but usually they're pretty cost prohibitive. So we'll have to take a look at all of those options. But this is full replacement, even though the tanks are still from 1999. You might as well replace the whole thing so that it's all one brand new system and it's all got the same expiration.
Okay. What is the PPU on this?
15 years, right?
And is that our actual is that just what the bonding is? Do we expect it to actually have to be replaced every 15 years? What's the timeline we hope this will last for?
When I talked to
Not with any
Sean
guarantees.
Hooley, yeah, when I talked to Sean Hooley, he actually thought it would be more like a 20-year to 25-year. The DEC does annual inspections anyway. That's how we came across this issue. So we have to do quarterly walkthroughs, quarterly, checks on them, and then there's the annual on top of it. So you can generally kind of keep ahead of it, and then if you need to do something. And this actually started with a crack in the concrete. That's how it was discovered. So those little
And
things.
it sounds like the previous one lasted more than 20 years, so that's a good sign. That being said, one concern I have is that, I have hopes that we're not using massive amounts of gas and diesel in 20 years. I don't know whether that will be the case, but certainly for the smaller vehicles, I would anticipate those shifting more and more. For a larger equipment, I haven't done much research into what is available or will be available in 5 years in terms of electric or other power supplies for those larger things. And so I just wanted to make sure we do a good analysis that there aren't major things that will change on that front, and that, if there are, could we just, what would it mean operationally to use the tanks that are already in existence up at the water plant, or partner with the county to use some of theirs? What would that work mean operationally versus having one on site at the garage?
Well, accessibility is one thing. For somebody to drive from South Troy all the way to the water plant, you probably burn as much fuel as you put into it. Honestly, we don't know what's coming down 5 years from the pike. We thought 5 years ago that, we were already going to be in autonomous driving cars as well too, which they're on the horizon, but not as quick as we thought they were. And I'll be the first one to tell you that we should start looking at parking garages in different manners when we build them and all those other kinds of things. So, but at the same time, I really have a hard time thinking that a fire truck and dump truck and payloaders and all those things are going to go full electric in the next 5 or 10 years.
Yeah, that'll be a while.
Just because of the diesel engines that we do run. They are pretty efficient, but they also, they need a lot of power and they need a lot of oomph to do what they need to do. That's why when you hear Chief McMahon talk about his rigs and the cost of them, he designs them for Troy. He designs them for the hills. He designs them so that they have the speed and the ability to do what we need to do in our city. So do I think 20 years down the road, it might be a different story? Could be, but this is unfortunately is one situation we have to be able to have accessibility.
If it's something we're only paying for 15 years, I think if that's reasonable. It's unfortunate that the world is not further along on this transition yet, but I don't think the equipment exists yet to convert, as far as I can tell. So I can support this for now.
Okay. You never know. Anaerobic digesting is.
Maybe we'll find alternate sources of diesel.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really gaining some momentum in the Mohawk Valley and some other places. Anyway, down the road. Further discussion, questions? Okay, I'm going to take a slow roll. Councilmember Gully,
Yes.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Yes.
Councilmember Steele,
Aye.
Councilmember Cummings,
Yes.
Councilmember Zaluski,
Aye.
Councilmember McDermott,
Yes.
Yes, and Council President Mantello, just very quickly, briefly, I was a little concerned initially when Monica called me and Andy, but I do appreciate the thoroughness. I do also appreciate, Monica and I talked about getting our engineer a little more involved from the beginning, but he wasn't here at that time. So certainly that'll happen in the future. And I totally agree, digging this up twice makes absolutely no sense. So I'm in favor, and obviously the last minute, nobody likes $1 million bond at the last minute, but I totally get it. So thank you, and I vote aye. So resolution 131 carries 7-0. Resolution 132, bond resolution of the city of Troy, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1 million serial bonds to finance the replacement of underground fuel storage tanks, excuse me, at the request or at the Department of Public Works garage. Council President Mantello, at the request of the administration. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, bond resolution 132 carries 7-0. I will take a motion to adjourn. Excuse me, before we adjourn, do we need a break for the special, or can we go right into it?
I'm fine.
I'm good going right into it.
I'd like to
Okay.
just keep rolling along.
Beautiful. I have a lot of shoveling also. Okay, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we are adjourned 7-0. We will go right into the special. Just give me 2 seconds. I have to pull up the agenda. All right. Mara, we're good?
I am good, thank you.
Beautiful. December 17th, we are going into the special meeting, 7:46. I'll ask everyone to stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, and I'll ask Councilmember Gully to lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Councilmember Gully. Mara, roll call.
Councilmember Gully,
Here.
Councilmember Ash McPherson,
Here.
Councilmember Steele,
Present.
Councilmember Cummings,
Present.
Councilmember Zaluski,
Here.
Councilmember McDermott,
Here.
Council President Mantello.
I am here.
7 present, none absent.
Okay, I will take a motion for the approval of minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes as produced.
Thank you, Councilmember Zaluski. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Gully. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Mara?
Oh, I'm sorry. Approval of the minutes passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
No problem. Public forum. No one has requested to speak. Localizing none. Ordinance 97.
Ordinance amending the special grants fund budget. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Your motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 97 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 98.
Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid bulk pickup fees and garbage fines onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 98 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 99.
Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid solid waste collection fees onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 99 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 100.
Ordinance amending the general fund and special grants fund budgets. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 100 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 101.
Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid vacant building fees onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 101 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 102.
Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid water bills onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 102 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 103.
Ordinance authorizing the re-levy of unpaid water and sewer shop work bills onto the 2021 property tax bills. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 103 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Ordinance 104.
Ordinance transferring funds, excuse me. Ordinance transferring funds within the 2020 general fund budget. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Ordinance 104 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
God bless you, Mayor. Okay, ordinance 104 carries. I'm sorry, ordinance 105.
Ordinance transferring funds within the 2020 garbage fund budget. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Ordinance 105 passes 7 ayes, 0 noes.
Resolution 126.
Resolution appointing a commissioner of deeds for the city of Troy. Council President Mantello.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 126 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
Resolution 127.
The Troy City Council encourages residents and businesses to adopt a fire hydrant. Council President Mantello, Councilmember Ash McPherson, Councilmember Gully.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ty, we'll give it to Councilmember Gully on this one. Discussion. I just want to thank my colleagues for bipartisanship and working together on this one. Thank you. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 127 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
Resolution 128.
Resolution in support of the Hoosick Hillside Study. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 128 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
Resolution 130.
Resolution authorizing the mayor to enter into a master services agreement with Recollect Systems, Inc. for the purpose of supplying an educational internet platform and applications to increase recycling in the city of Troy. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion.
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Ash McPherson.
I was online looking at more of the information on their website, and I'm still not 100% sold on this. I'm all for information getting out there. I'm going to vote for this, but I'm still like, I'm still not 100% behind it.
Thank you, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 130 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
Resolution 131.
Resolution determining that proposed action is a type 2 action for the purpose of New York State Environmental Quality Review Act. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. God bless you again, Mayor. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 131 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
Resolution 132.
Bond resolution of the City of Troy, New York, authorizing the issuance of $1 million serial bonds to finance the replacement of underground fuel storage tanks at the Department of Public Works garage. Council President Mantello at the request of the administration.
Do I have a motion?
Make a motion?
Member Zaluski, do I have a second?
Second.
Second, Councilmember Ash McPherson. Discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed?
Resolution 132 passes 7 ayes, 0 nos.
That concludes our agenda. I would just ask everyone to stay safe out there and check on your neighbors. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn?
Motion, Councilmember Zaluski. Do I have a second?
Second.
Ooh, Jim.
Tie. Councilmember Gully by a hair. Further discussion?
Council President,
Yes, Councilmember Ash McPherson.
I just like to say I probably won't see or speak to anybody, maybe Monica I will, before Christmas. So I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, stay safe, and hopefully we all have a great New Year too. Thank you.
You're welcome. For some reason, I think we may be talking to each other. Okay.
Council
Further
President,
discussion. Yes, Councilmember Gully.
I just want to point out what a perfect night tonight was through both meetings. We really, if you look, I think we're, I don't know, 30-0 or whatever it is for tonight. So unanimous night. It was great to see. Nice to see all your smiles. I hope you all have a great holiday and don't do anything I wouldn't do.
Thank you, counselors, and
Back at
So
you.
we got a blank check for the holidays, I take it.
the spirit of the season.
Yes. Further discussion. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Merry Christmas. Happy holidays. Bye,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night,
Good night.
everybody.
Thank you, Mara.